And you say third coast. Yeah. It's such a delight to be here tonight, utilizing the gift of song that I've been blessed with to bring to y'all so much joy. And you know, like I know, don't nothing bring more joy than a clean-cut New Orleans boy, huh? They say I wouldn't do it again.
What up, what up? Welcome to Concrete Reality TV. I'm Ephraim Acapella.
I am King Cool Cutter in the building.
I'm OG2.
You know how we do it. We strive to know more and do more with what we know. We got a special guest coming in.
Yes, sir.
I don't even know what to say about this one, fellas. I don't even know how my ass pulled this off.
Hey, man, it's good. It's good to have those connections when you need them, man.
I know, man. This goes back to high school. Back in H-Town. I mean, he got accolades, he got accreditations, 2-time Grammy nominee, co-written artist, you know him, Aaliyah,
Usher,
Ludacris, Miguel, Chris.
And the list goes on and on and on and on, man.
He got a lot of business interests too that we gonna talk about. Fan base. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Let's just bring him in. D Scantz, what up, man? Donnie Scantz, what's happening with you? Let's give him a hand. Welcome to Concrete TV, Houston Hometown Heroes Edition. We bringing it live, not from H-Town, but in our hearts. We in H-Town.
H-Town all day. Southside. Glad y'all doing this for the crib, and I'm happy to represent all the way from Los Angeles, California.
LA.
Yeah, we're here.
How long you been in LA?
This time, I'd say about 12 years this time.
This time?
Yeah, I was in Atlanta for 15 years, and then I originally came out to LA with the fellas.
Who the fellas? You know who the fellas is. Stop acting like you don't know our deal. Stop that.
I know. We might know. But...
I'm sorry.
You guys wanted to get to that part of the story yet. So
yeah, we
I'm kind of reserving, opening up the can of worms before let y'all direct your interview. You know what I'm saying?
I'm starting trouble already. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what I do.
LA was always in the vision plan, especially from the beginning. So it's where I ended up right now.
You're a family man now?
Yes. You say now. Like,
hey, let's not get this man in no trouble, man.
You talking about that?
Hurry this damn pot up early.
He say now, like he ain't been a family man for a long time. Okay.
Always been a family man.
Okay. We go roll with that. How long you been married, D?
Well, that's been about 8 years. My lovely woman, Ivory, she's the mother of my 2 youngest children. I do have a 22-year-old, Noah. Shouts out to Noah.
22?
Yeah, he was born in 2000. I am extremely proud of him. He graduated from Northwestern University.
Okay. Congratulations, yes.
What was his major?
He was political science. He's one of those debate guys. He
want to be in politics, yes. Yes.
I think he's going to go to law school. He was the firstborn. So that was, I guess, when you could say, now. Am I a family man now? Because, he didn't get a lot of what he needed to get from dad early on in life. But I thank God that we are where we are now. Yeah, Ivory and my 2 beautiful children that are here, Asa and Ava. Asa, 4 years old. Ava, 7 months.
You got a 4? So, you said, wait.
Noah's 22. Asa's 4.
Damn.
Ava's 7 months. He said,
"Is this it? This is the only you gonna stop, or are you gonna continue?"
Yeah, I think we're done here. I think we're done. I think that's about it. A lot of focus is gonna have to be given to what I'm learning in this era of fatherhood, because it's a lot. It's a lot to learn at this point,
right?
Especially being in the house and trying to watch myself grow up and see myself in ways that I never knew. Like, it's so interesting.
Yeah, fatherhood will definitely do that shit to you.
Yeah, it's good. I feel blessed to have the opportunity to do it this way this time, because I felt like, there's definitely a lot that was missed doing it other ways. So
right.
I'm an advocate for family life.
So speaking of that, I'm curious because with this fatherhood, this journey, transition, maturing and realizing that life is not about your ass no more. We all have to go through that. Did you grow up having a father figure in your life? Did you grow up with mom and dad, or was it just a
interesting? Well, here's the thing. I knew a lot of people that grew up with their parents in the home, and the way in which my mother and my father's relationship was, it was quite unique for how I experienced it as a child, right? So my father is a Bahamian immigrant, right? The Bahamas is a totally different country. I was born in the Bahamas, lived there with both my mom and my dad, about 6 years old, came to elementary school with an accent.
Wait, hold up. Because you said that before and I ain't gonna let you skip over that shit. You ain't no real Houstonian.
What determines you're a real Houstonian?
You wasn't born in Houston?
No, I wasn't born in Ben Taub or any other.
No. I don't think you ought to be born there anyway.
Yeah, Ben Taub, you don't want to be there.
The county hospital.
Yeah.
Hilarious. So you from the Bahamas.
I came here in elementary school, and my mother and dad were together when we came here. But, I'm sure that the American way probably got my dad's eyes really, really big. And, he had to do his thing. And Bahamians, have a reputation of what they call down in the islands being fresh. So, I could only imagine where maybe, some of my mannerisms may have come from in the context of past life experiences. But, my dad, I understood his relationship with my mother to be what it was at a young age. And, they separated and he moved to Detroit, and I started spending summers in the Bahamas. I never spent any summers in Houston. It was either in the Bahamas or I was in Detroit with my dad. And I thought that was very unique and important because my dad felt it was very important that I was around my family, my cultural ties to the island, and understood where I came from. So his presence in my life physically on a daily basis wasn't there. And I'm sure that, the impact of what that was, made me who I am. But, my mother also had me around strong role models. And like I said, a lot of my friends that I grew up with, a lot of their, I guess, father figures were people that I looked up to in certain kinds of ways, And so I didn't feel any lack, I guess, to make it plain. And this part is important too. My mother never said anything disparaging about my father, regardless of whatever struggles that may have presented themselves. All right. I love my dad for who my dad was to me. I love my mom, and their relationship was their relationship.
Yep, that's what I was going to ask you. I wanted to know about that because I know that happens.
It happens a lot. Yeah, currently.
More than it should.
Absolutely.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
Let's get to your second parent, the introduction to music. At what age did you get the bug?
Well, my uncle Clarence was a musician in Houston. Clarence Parker, who's played the blues. And he played in a number of bands. I remember him telling me about him playing in like one of Duke Ellington's orchestras. And then I remember him playing in a band called the Texas Tornadoes. This is some Texas history right here, right?
Wow.
So if y'all look up this band, the Texas Tornadoes, I'm not sure who was in that band, but this was what was going on in Third Ward, Texas.
Yep. A lot of blues playing.
So my uncle, he played bass. He was a big influence as far as my interest in music. But with him being my uncle, I didn't necessarily think that he could really teach me much about what I wanted to do with music. He was the one who bought me my first guitar that, without even having a respect for the instruments, and then being so young at the time that he bought me a guitar and tore all the strings off of it and never played it. Just destroyed it. It was a beautiful guitar too. I don't know why I did that, but I had to be about 8 years old.
So I guess that wasn't the instrument. The guitar was not it.
No, but I was, what I really loved was running around the house pretending I was Prince in my drawers. Playing guitar.
What an influence Prince had on you.
And the strings just got in the way. My appreciation for music started there, with my uncle and, with my love for Prince and the music that, extended family members put me on to. And go and hang out at my dad's apartment when he was still living in Houston, and his boys used to have a red light on and smoke-filled room with the beads in the middle of the doorway with this peculiar smell, but they'd be playing Marvin Gaye. And, you know, I just remember just being influenced about all these situational aspects that music was a part of, you know, my life. So when it came to elementary school and by third grade, because music was still in the schools, you had to choose an instrument, right, to play.
Right.
That's one thing I really appreciated about it. So my mom took me out of Parker Music Academy, I think because it was kind of too white. She put me in McGregor Music and Science Academy, right there.
Oh, yeah, that's the hood.
Right there in Third Ward. And that was with Larry Alexander as the principal, Mr. Alexander, who ended up becoming the Houston Independent School District Superintendent.
Yep.
Right, so this is how and you asked me about like inspiration in music. Let me know if I'm getting a little long-winded.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, you're perfect.
So my mother put me in a covering of men that she felt would be great examples for any black man at that time growing up in Texas. And y'all know how it is growing up in Texas. Yeah. So Mr. Alexander, there was Mr. Harrison, and there was Mr. Smith. And Mr. Harrison and Mr. Smith were great musicians in Houston that were teachers at McGregor Elementary, jazz musicians. Mr. Harrison played drums. Mr. Smith played whatever he needed to play. But the teaching at McGregor was where we really had an opportunity to open up and express ourselves. So after we did the required, learn the violin, I played the violin. We got to choose an instrument in third grade, and the instrument I chose was drums. And from then, after we played drums from third through fifth grade, by the time I got to fifth grade, they was like, okay, choose another instrument to play. And then I chose trumpet. Then I didn't like what the trumpet did to my lips. I hated it. I was like, what is this? Nobody go through this.
You get those numb lips.
Yeah, you got to get that little thing at the top of your lip, too.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yep. So I was like, nope, I'm sticking with the drums. And I stuck with the drums from McGregor Elementary because we played, we learned music, we learned like real stuff. And I went to Johnston. And didn't you go to Johnston?
Yep, that's where I met you the first time.
Yeah, everybody make mistakes in life. It's okay.
Yeah.
You probably went like Welch or something, huh?
No, I went to Darling.
Oh, you went to Dick Darling.
Remember this because he played on the football team.
Yeah, we ain't like playing Darling, boy. All y'all football players at Darling had beards.
That is a rumor. That is a lie, and that is not the truth.
No rumor, bro.
I never had a beard in middle school.
So he looked just the way he did now when he was in middle school.
No, I did not. You stop it.
So you trying to tell me they had the teacher playing on the football team?
It would be like this omen that would just come over the football team at Johnston every time Darling would come up. Like
every damn
time. These grown ass men.
Yep. He's like, man, them ain't no middle school kids. Them grown
men.
That is a lie and a rumor that is not true.
Hey, y'all go suit up. Ain't nobody gonna know y'all got helmets on.
But at the same time, Johnston was a well-rounded school. So we were in the sports, we were in the music, and we had great teachers there. And, it was a performing arts academy. So we were exposed to a lot of the fine arts. And a lot of us wanted to carry that with us, through school.
Quick question with Johnston. So you auditioned to get in and you auditioned on the drums?
Yep.
Shout out to the day one drummers, elementary school drummers on the middle school and high school.
Oh yeah,
I'm one of them. So let's get it.
So D, how many instruments do you play?
Well, I compose and I write with the piano, the guitar, and the drums. I guess you could say I play those. I've been on tour playing guitar before. It's just over the years of being around great musicians and being inspired by my friends who, I inadvertently grew up with, who are now like at the top of their game and some of their, musical accolades. It's like really seeing it develop and seeing them as great as they are now inspired me along the way to even pluck at the piano, But
right.
If I wanted to at any point of my come up in the music business, yeah, I would love to have Brian Michael Cox come sprinkle some piano on my tracks, or a PJ Morton come and sprinkle something on my tracks while we're in exchange of information, and I'm teaching him how to use the MPC or something, like, and you never know where these relationships might end up and turn out to be. And next thing you know, we're all here. Junior high school, since we brought up Johnston, it was people like Chris Dave, who was just a year out of Johnston when I entered in. And so, it was being in the midst of a drummer like a Chris Dave and a Mark Simmons, who eventually fed into HSPVA, which was the next school that I wanted to go to, that had the Jason Morans who were already there, but my mother didn't let me go to PVA as a freshman. I went to Willow Ridge High School in Mo City.
Everybody make mistakes again.
Again, shouts out to Ronald Thornton, the second teaching of the Willow Ridge High School marching band, as well as their jazz band, because it was one of the amazing music programs that was outside of a performing arts centered environment in which I grew up in. So my mother had a way of always putting me in these environments where I could excel, and I had great mentors and teachers. But at the same time, I didn't belong in Willow Ridge, and that was kind of like identified, immediately. So I didn't do that next year. And kind of like my purgatory was, you're going to go to Lamar for a semester. So I ended up going to Lamar High School.
Everybody make mistakes again. God damn, boy.
No, Lamar.
What high school you go to? You went to Yates, huh?
I went to James Madison. MHS, baby.
Madison. Okay, you went to Madison. So you went from Dowling to Madison.
Yep.
Everybody makes mistakes. So, yeah, I went to Lamar and I tried to play football and be a jockey. Lamar is like a big football-oriented school, right? So, and, a little weird guy like me who didn't wear Jordans.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I bought Jordans when I was in the 8th grade, and I learned my lesson because my mother made me buy my Jordans with my own money. And they cost $108, I remember.
I wish they cost that much today.
Yeah, they pricing now. They about $3
Right. But that's why I'm glad I learned my lesson. I'm glad my mother taught it to me the way that she did, because she made me pay for it with my own money, my own earned allowance, and whatever side jobs, hustling that I did back then. She wanted to teach me, like, okay, you want your Jordans, go and get them. 2 weeks in, them Jordans was wrecked. 8th grade, I vowed that I would never pay that much money for shoes again. And ever since then, I've only been Chucks and Vans.
Okay.
Let's go back, because you said you had to work. Was this your first job?
Well, okay. I used to go to Shape Community Center growing up in Houston. Like, we're talking about the whole Houston.
Shout out to Shape. Shout out to Shape
Community Center. Yeah.
So we got to give love to Deloitte Parker. I was one of the kids of Shape of Our Lives, and it was a community program that taught us all of the principles of Kwanzaa. And taught us all of the principles of self-preservation, being Black men in Texas and in the United States, as well as, some entrepreneurial aspects, some creative entrepreneurial aspects. So we made these things, you remember when people used to rock them Africa medallions?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
We used to make them at Shape. We used to do silk screen and T-shirts. And this was all in the summer program for them to teach us, like, Black entrepreneurship, like basically teaching us how to fish. Made some money from that. I would come home, wads of cash over the summer. So I was responsible for, buying a lot of my school clothes and some of those things. And I think, all of those opportunities, whether or not my mother had money or not, it always felt like we did good at all of the opportunities that were given, because that's just what we did. So all of that led me to HSPVA by the time I got out of Lamar High School.
And you went to SJPVA as a junior, right?
Second semester my sophomore year.
Oh, your sophomore year, okay.
So they did like a semester transfer, because my mother worked in HISD.
Oh, that's even lovelier.
20, 30 years. So they did an administrative transfer. There was a little incident that happened at Lamar High School that I don't think that Beverly Hills High School was prepared for at that time. And for some reason, my name got floated around in the mix of this controversy.
Wait, is this the race fight that happened?
Yeah, buddy.
I remember that fight. That was everywhere.
Yeah,
y'all want to hear this story?
Yeah, go ahead, tell the story. Yeah. It's like Eyewitness News of Marvin Zindler right now.
Are we recording? Are we recording?
Exactly, because we had another guest. I don't know if you know him. His name's Okira Robinson, but
I think I remember that name.
He looks like Tupac, but a flat top at that time. But he was talking about this very same incident, and I'm curious to hear your perspective on it.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm glad that there is someone else talking about it, because I remember I had to go on Fox 26 News and talk about it as a request from Lamar High School. So here's the story. It was around the time when the Malcolm X movie was getting made, Spike Lee. There was a lot of things going on in the Black community in the context of whatever was going on in our social constructs, whether it was a little bit before Rodney King or whatever happened in your very own community, or even to yourself by any incidents of you being a Black man in America, right? So there was some knowledge going around, and there was some pride going around, and people were making movies, and Malcolm X was coming about, and people wore X shirts and X hats. I don't know if how popular y'all remember those being.
Yes,
but
sir.
Of course,
they were hot.
African medallions and X hats.
Nice.
Yeah.
The X-Clan. The X-Clan was out at the time.
X-Clan was rocking, talking about music. Public Enemy was fighting the
Public
power.
Enemy.
So you got to realize this was an era where Black students were really finding ourselves in the positive modalities of what hip hop had allowed us to figure out in our culture. And so we were expressing ourselves. There were book covers that were promotional materials that came out that had the X on them. You remember we used to have to put our books in books covers, right?
Yes, right. yes.
Once the book cover companies started to figure out, we could advertise movies and stuff on there, you would see all kind of new book covers coming out and be shipped off to schools and whatnot. So X was one of the book covers that got to Lamar High School. Just to give some context, Lamar High School is in a neighborhood that wouldn't
one of the whitest neighborhoods in Houston, Texas.
That wouldn't let Muhammad Ali purchase a crib in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The height of his career. Okay. Fact. They would not let Muhammad Ali. So Beverly Hills 90210 would be Lamar High School.
Lamar. You're right.
Yes, correct.
Right? So there was a pretty strong population of Black students there, and there was a even stronger population of white. And, the Mexican population of the school, they were moderately growing but visible, Be it that athletics was the median that kind of united everybody together at Lamar, white and Black, the athletic department. So usually the athletes and, we had friends who were of different backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds. The white kids had the toga parties that they used to throw. And I think they, historically probably still throw them today, that maybe not the average Black kid would go to, but most of the athletes were invited to. And, so you got a chance to intermingle, and you got a chance to kind of like culturally discuss things that were a little different, which I thought was really cool about Lamar. It was like we had an opportunity to, I don't even want to use the term blend in, but we were culturally, it was a mixed school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember sitting at lunchtime one time reading the autobiography of Malcolm X at the time, trying to get my knowledge up about the movie. So when I saw the movie, if there were any gaps, I wanted to make sure that the gaps were filled in for me historically. So I'm reading the book, Alex Haley's, by the way, Alex Haley, autobiography of Malcolm X. I suggest everybody go read that. And one of my white friends came to me and said, "Hey, what if we wore shirts about white pride?" And I'm like, if you're proud to be white, that's cool. As long as it's not offensive and I don't have a problem anyone being proud of the culture that they're from. So I remember having this conversation with one of my friends, and maybe it was a group, and we were discussing, well, why y'all wearing the X hats? And, because Malcolm X, he's a Muslim, and he was he hates white people and he hates Jewish people. So it's like, it was a conversation, but it was also a teachable moment too, because the movie was coming out, and, Malcolm X is a civil rights figure in the Black community. So there is no negative connotation when you're talking to me about Malcolm X and me trying to also be civil with you, about how you feel, because I don't think you're racist. I don't think that you're racist for asking me this question, but if there's a moment where, I can give you some information about Malcolm X that you didn't know before, let's use this as an opportunity. So I guess because of all of the pride and stuff that was going on around that time, maybe a week later or something, a bunch of kids showed up to school and they had these shirts on that says, "The South will rise again."
Oh my goodness.
If we
That's
knew
definitely racist.
And on the back of the shirt, it said, "If we knew it was going to be like this, we would have picked the cotton ourselves."
Oh,
what the hell? That's your fault.
Some of them had Confederate flags on it. Because mind you, we used to have kids that drive up to school with their Jeeps on big tires with Confederate flags.
Confederate flags
At Lamar. So it was a deal. It was a big deal. So mind you, all of this was going on. Now this is what's going on with the students. In the backdrop, the administration had confiscated all of the Malcolm X book covers. That's why I brought that up earlier, because they told all the black kids you couldn't have these Malcolm X book covers on your books.
But you can rock the Confederate flag all you want to.
So I take that word to my mother. My mother, being the administrator that she is, she comes to school in an African garb. By the way, we're not born in Africa. We don't have any African, memories of dressing in kente cloth, but my mother made sure that I had from head to toe, you know what I'm saying? Probably the baddest kente cloth outfit ever. She had one too. Ephraim, I remember you having a kente cloth hat too at one point too.
Yeah, I had that.
So
and the medallion.
And the medallion. There was a lot of other things happening in the background, I guess, with parents that were having problems and questions with their kids coming home about this. And so I guess, the parents let their kids walk out of the house saying, okay, well, if these kids could dress like that, then you can go express yourself too, right? And so I guess that's what the thing happened. So next thing you know, white kids getting beat up all over Lamar High School.
Hell yeah.
Getting their shirts ripped open. I wasn't assaulting anyone, but you would hear people running down the hallway screaming for their life. We'd be in class like, oh my God, what's happening? And then, another period. You'd hear some, then it just got out of hand. And so they had to send everybody back to homeroom. And I think at the end of the day, I get a call to go to the principal's office.
It's your fault anyway. You told the little white boy.
You told me he could express himself. Yeah, so he thought it was okay.
12.
It's Mr. Day, and he's like, he just wanted to get some clarity. And so I just told him, just like I told you, I was like, no, I didn't tell them to wear that. And I was like, that's not what the intention was. And, so we had groups like the Gents that were very, Afrocentric based. And
yes, we were.
And G5 all day. Right.
Yeah, G5G. That's what you want. Yeah, G5 all day.
6-4 all day. So it was like, what can we do to basically keep the peace? Fox 26 News was up there. Mr. Day asked me to speak on Fox 26 News. It was just really an ordeal. My mother did make sure I dressed in African garb for that interview too as well.
This is the internet, and you better hope we don't find that clip.
yes. You hope you don't find that clip.
We definitely posted.
Well, maybe I hope you do, because it shows the consistency of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, shouts out to my mom. She always represented well. She always, made sure that I was representing, how I needed to represent for what I was being taught in my household.
Right.
So, I know how it looks. I know how I felt wearing it. And, of course, any kid, I'm like, come on, Mom, I don't want to wear this. But, I understood what the mission was. I knew what the assignment was at that moment. So, yeah, shouts out to that. So that was that incident at Lamar that I think triggered everyone's support to get me into a school and into an environment to where I could really be focused on the things that I wanted to be focused on. And that was music. And that got me to PBA.
Were you still playing football at the time?
Well, at Lamar, I was still trying to play football, but ironically, Lamar had a brilliant idea to bring in this teacher from Florida named Mr. Johnson, I remember. And he wanted to start Lamar's very first jazz band. And so a bunch of the kids that were musicians at Lamar, we kind of, corralled each other, and we were like, hey, there's a band. Let's, Lamar ain't never had no jazz band. Let's do it. So it was me, Maverick Cotton.
Maverick. What
Jerry
up,
Davis.
Damn, Jerry.
Wayne Perry.
Oh, wow.
That's my boy. Wayne Perry. That's my dude right there. With his piano playing ass.
And it was a few other people. Ty Moran, Jason Moran's brother, played piano in the jazz band. But we were Lamar's first jazz band. We went to state, and I think we won against HSPVA, and that was just like, it was a big deal because Lamar never did that before, and so Mr. Johnson was like so proud of us, and we were so proud of ourselves. But later on that summer, Mr. Johnson died, and so the jazz program wasn't coming back to Lamar.
Oh, wow.
So they dissolved the program, and it was like, what else is there to do here? So I'd rather go to PVA where I could have the opportunity to really learn with the people that I feel like I could benefit this kind of education from.
Doc Morgan.
And that was it.
Did you have to audition to get into PVA, or they just slid you on in?
I did audition. I auditioned coming in as a freshman, but again, like I said, my mother didn't want me to go there. And then I had to audition again to show them where I was at currently.
When did you realize that you were good at being a drummer? When did it click?
Yeah, I don't think I ever realized that.
Damn.
Ever. Because I hung around Chris Dave and I hung around Mark Simmons and had Marshall York, who was basically teaching me the music of jazz and outside of everything else that I was, I guess exposed to. I was really interested in drumming from church.
I was just about to ask that question.
Always wanting to play drums for the choir, for the youth choir. And so they gave me opportunities every second Sunday to play drums for the youth choir.
Was this Windsor Village or Brentwood?
Windsor Village.
Okay. WV in the building.
Yeah.
Kirby John.
All day long. Shouts out to Windsor Village because they played a major part in nurturing my desire to play music.
So D, who would you say are some of the drummers that influenced you?
Well, it would be Mark Simmons and Chris Day. It would be Sebastian Whitaker.
I met him my freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
Sterling.
Yeah.
It would be Marshall York. These are all my junior high school friends because just as great as they are now, I felt as if they were great then. And Eric Harlan, when Eric was my peer, he was in my year. There was a time where I felt like maybe me and Eric was like neck and neck. And then I seen him come back one summer and he just was really mad on the drums. And I was like, he is a totally new person. Because, 1 year ended, the summertime came, Eric was gone. He was a little overweight. He came back senior year. He lost all the weight.
Yep,
he was killing, swinging. Everybody's eyes was like, yo, did you sell your soul to the devil? What just happened here? Because it was a 180-degree. Shouts out to Eric Harlan transformation that inspired us all.
Man.
And now Eric is all over, he's his own made man. Like, really.
Yeah, these names that you're dropping, I know a lot of people don't follow drummers.
These are legendary names.
These are legendary names in the game.
They're all from Houston.
All from H-Town that we've had a chance to be around. And then, of course, Donnie got inspired by. And then, of course, Donnie, a beast on the drums on his own. That's impressive, bro. That's impressive to have that lineage.
Yeah, but I think that speaks to why I never really felt that I was good. Because I was like, if I'm hanging with Chris and somebody walks in the room and they want a drummer for a gig, they gonna go to Chris. Now, sometimes, okay, Chris wasn't available. And they be like, oh, yeah, okay, Donnie, we'll let you play this time. But if Chris show back up, just know. You got to get it's on your drum set.
Yeah. We're
gonna let Chris play. And even if it was on my drum set, it would be like, here, I get up and be like, here, but of course that speaks to a little imposter syndrome of me, something that I've had a very long time that I carried with me for a very long time. Something I just really as an adult identified what it was. And I've heard stories of where Chris has told other people what he thought of my progress in playing. And, I was quite shocked that, at some points, he thought I was good. So, it was like, oh, okay, great.
As As you can see, I was raised in the streets. I ain't got